A Teacher Guide 1. Chapter 1. Teacher Guide. The Teacher Archetype. I was a teacher for a while. I started because I liked education and wanted to do something to express myself creatively, but after I taught the same course over 30 times, I said to myself, I don't believe in the fake science of psychology anymore. I could keep doing this to earn a living, but every day I feel like I'm wasting my life. The point is that it's a great profession if you like the course material and the students who are mostly young, well-intentioned and inspired, but the education system has to get rid of all the bullshit and only teach information that helps people in a real way. There is no sense teaching algebra or trigonometry to 99% of the population. Get rid of all the social science majors in college and teach only one course about life called Enlightenment 101, where you tell them you are who you are in your own natural purity, away from everything you ever brainwashed by since you had your first conscious thought. The bullshit in college education is monumental. College has become a capitalist business. The more bullshit majors they create, the more money they make. I'm pro-teacher because I was one. I think it's one of the few truly honorable professions. This book has thousands of ideas, websites, and resources to help any teacher improve their craft. It lists teacher organizations, has lesson plan websites, teacher blogs, teacher software, how to create an education website, teachers on social media, new teaching ideas and stuff like that. In case you didn't know, education books at the library go from number 370 number 379 or L in the Library of Congress system. Don't underestimate your library for a wealth of information. They might have a separate reference section for college education. 370 Education. 371 The School. 372 Elementary Education. 373 Secondary Education. 374 Adult Education. 375 Curriculums. 376 Education of Women. 377 Schools and Religion. 378 College and University. 379 Government Involvement in Education. Qualities of a good teacher. Passion. Possess good classroom management skills. Professional. Career advancement, people who excel in their jobs. A role model. A good communicator. Smart and has an engaging personality. Teachers, general. In a completely rational society, the best of us would be teachers and the rest of us would have to settle for something less, because passing civilization along from one generation to the next ought to be the highest honor and the highest responsibility anyone could have. Lee Iacocca. The best teachers. 1. Organize and explain material in ways appropriate to their students' abilities. 2. Develop a rapport with students. 3. Create an environment conducive to learning. 4. Care that students master the material. 5. Help students become independent learners. 6. Continually improve their own teaching. The teacher's job is to cultivate an enthusiasm for lifelong learning. The prospect for teachers is good because there is a chronic shortage of them, especially in rural areas. The pay is not incredible, but it's reasonable. Your best bet is in math. Everybody wants to teach English and history. But there are never enough math teachers. Generally, you need a bachelor's degree with a teachable major, then 1 or 2 years for a Bachelor's of Education, or you can major in education right from the start. In some areas with hard-to-fill positions, these requirements are lax because there's perpetually a shortage of teachers, because there are always more kids being born and immigrating to America, and not a hell of a lot of people want to be teachers. You may not be able to work in the city up front. You may have to take a job in an obscure, rural area, but the jobs are there. Many state governments offer incentives to future teachers, like scholarships, forgiveness of student loans, etc. Find your state Department of Education in a few local school boards in the phone book and Send them a letter or call them asking if they have incentives for people studying to become teachers. Get my education book for more resources. Education books at the library go from number 370. Number 379 or L in the Library of Congress system. Don't underestimate your library for a wealth of information. They might have a separate reference section for college education. 370 Education. 371 The School. 372 Elementary Education. 373 Secondary Education. 374 Adult Education. 375 Curriculums. 376 Education of Women. 377 Schools and Religion. 378 College and University. 379 Government Involvement in Education. The Principal in Grade School. educationworld.com/admin/admin231.html, articles for principals. Inspiring messages for students from teachthought.com. Student engagement. Motivational videos. Good class rules. I love learning and I love people. You're a person and you're here to learn. Hopefully, you can see where I'm going with this. I fail and make mistakes. I will help you, but sometimes I'll need help from you. I cannot let you be passive. I hope you understand. I will push you without losing you. I will not give up on you. I understand the walls outside of this classroom and think about them as context for everything we do here. I am responsible for everyone and thing in this class, and therefore at times what I say and do may confuse you or even seem unfair or wrong. I am always here to talk to you about things so that you understand. I am here for you. It's literally my life's work to help you grow. I have expertise/credibility and I care about you and your success. These are equally important and together why you can trust me. I love different things than you do and you love different things than most everyone else. Learning is about sharing that love. You are the reason we are here. This is all for you, and if it doesn't feel like it, let's talk about it. You have a story. Let's use it, then add to it together. You are creative and intelligent. You have genius somewhere inside you. Let's find it. You're not bad at math/science/reading/writing. If you think this, you're wrong. You are loved and cared for and have infinite value, but that value is only potential if you don't use it to grow. You have a future and your best days are ahead of you. Sometimes the mountain you're climbing can obscure the view you're about to enjoy. You will learn things here that should be clearly relevant to you and your life. We will gain knowledge and skills to help you live a better life. If not, let's talk about it. You have an active and constant role in your learning. It may not always seem like it, but you're in control of your own failure or success. You are not a letter grade point average, test score, certificate, or data point in this school or district's success. You inspire me. We will learn through curiosity, joy, affection, and thought. We are all on our own journey, but in this class, we all need one another and will help one another grow. We will not punish mistakes and errors. Mistakes are how we learn. We will learn through humility. We will own our mistakes and admit what we don't know and the limits of what we do. We all have individual geniuses and abilities, but we can go farther together than alone. We will strive to understand and leverage this truth. We will strive to be honest, efficient, and pragmatic. We will not use inefficient tools, technology, strategies, sources, or technology just for the sake of forms and appearances. We can and will learn from anything. As a result, we will always be learning no matter where we are or what we're doing. We will never forget why we're learning what we're learning, and if we do, we will talk about it. We're going to learn to question everything in this class. Even standards. The word why is like a lantern and we'll use it constantly. We will value affection over thought and thought over knowledge and knowledge over academic performance, but we will see all as intertwined. Chapter 2. Teaching Guide. Effective teacher? Go to the number 379 section of your local library and get some education books, then look through some of the education websites in this book. As soon as you enter school property, be dressed professionally. Act professionally. I've seen casually dressed teachers around. I don't think it's cool. It's not cool to be too chummy with the students. You need a professional distance in order to maintain respect. Your boss is more interested in you controlling the class and keeping them quiet than in them learning something. No matter what idealistic notions you have about teaching, education in modern Western schools is a packaged capitalist commodity teaching facts to be later regurgitated. That's the game. If you want to be a teacher, play it. Have everything crystal clear, your performance objectives, lesson plans, worksheets, assignments, review sheets and tests. Don't do anything fancy. Inspired students do most of their learning on their own. Everybody else is indifferent to the material. It's just a hurdle to them to move through the system. They have no intrinsic love for knowledge. You can't foster it in them. Only they can do that. By grade 8, everybody's personality is set. Some of the smart kids do it out of love. Some are artificially smart. They do it out of capitalist ambition to succeed. Everyone else is just trying to make decent marks so they can go on to trade school or college to pursue their career ambitions, even though they are anti-intellectual at heart. All school is really anti-intellectual and anti-creative. Freethinkers as teachers disrupt the system. Their bosses do not want them to go outside the curriculum. As a teacher, play the role. Don't try to be the cool, super motivated one. Other teachers will hate you for making them look bad. Nobody will care in the end. If you're intellectual and gifted, pursue your true passions on the side. Write a book, do a podcast or something like that. Be organized. Have all the teaching aids, lesson plans, homework assignments and tests ready. Stay within the rules and the law. Don't get too chummy, especially with opposite-sex people. Don't touch them physically as in an affectionate hug. Don't meet one-on-one out of school. Children can be manipulated to turn on you on a dime. Overzealous parents can force their child to report a teacher-student friendship as inappropriate because the parent is jealous and is bullying the child. Stick with the curriculum. You can't get in trouble that way with new ideas. I've seen parents go bonkers when a teacher tries to go above and beyond the curriculum to bring in new, interesting material. The parents do not want anything except for what will get the kid into the college. Forget that it will help the child think critically and open up new worlds. Parents could care less. They just want a kid with good grades. Many teachers quit because the job is boring and stifling. By the same token, many teachers stay because it requires very little work to teach the same boring classes over and over again. Don't create a stressed-out class where you call on students out of the blue and possibly embarrass them. Students must feel safe in order to like your class. Don't get stressed out yourself. Accept your students as a cynical mob. Play the role of concerned teacher, but don't fret because they seem so apathetic. You are way down the line of their priorities. Lesson plans should be easy to create. There are tons of free ones on the internet. Download them. Always bring a bunch to class so you never run out of material. Always bring a ton of resources like worksheets, assignments, and stuff to fill up time. It's all free on the internet. Make up a discipline plan beforehand, like you will keep a disruptive kid after class and try to talk to him. If you can't shame him into shaping up, make up plan B, like send him to the guidance counselor to discuss personal problems or future aspirations. It might take a while to develop a smooth teaching manner. I had my lesson plan and never wanted to be interrupted, but towards the end of my teaching stint, I was better talking spontaneously than using notes at all. Notes stifled me because I felt I had to follow them. If I just talked, I could keep talking about whatever came into my mind. Watch out for smartasses, kids who challenge you because they think they're smart. I had a girl always trying to challenge me. The rest of the class told her to shut up because I was a good teacher. I spoon-fed them reasonably interesting lessons without ever asking questions or putting anyone on the spot. This girl disrupted that flow. They ganged up on her for being a bitch. I never had a problem with class clowns or tough punks. If somebody was being a jerk, I just told them to leave. If they said where, I said go to the library. I didn't send them to the principal, just told them to leave the class. Virtually every time, every class clown came back and shut up after that. It's like don't tolerate that crap. If the guy is talking while you're talking and you warn him once, the second time just tell him to leave. It's like you're taking his audience away from him. He doesn't get any attention if that is what he wanted. Don't ignore the disruptor in the back of the room. If you do that, he wins. Just say, take the rest of the class off Joe, then he gets scared and says where do you want me to go? Say I don't care, just go. For the next class, he'll come back and sit quietly. I shut everyone up that way. Your boss wants a paper trail of accountability. Have all your worksheets and tests available for him to see. With the students that weren't really up to academic snuff, sometimes I talked to them. Most of the time I just gave them a B. I even filled in the right answers on some of their tests to fudge their grades. I'm not big on evaluations in academic subjects where no one will be hurt as a result of poor performance, which is virtually all social science subjects. It's not like teaching a med student how to do surgery. When the parents come in, act like he's a good kid, he works hard and he just has to keep working at it. Don't act like he's slow in reading, maybe we should give him extra homework. That just causes problems all around. Just casually say buy him magazines he's interested in or something innocuous like that. I never taught lower grades. I can't relate to the parent-teacher thing. When I was a young teacher, a lot of the girls flirted with me. As far as I know, the rules in most schools is that you are not allowed to fraternize even during non-school hours, away from the school. Schools do not want their teachers to get into romantic or sexual relationships with their students. For a romantic relationship, I presume it happens once, they get married and that's it, but if you got some teacher taking on a new flame every year and the school doesn't do anything about it, especially if those girls are under 18, that's like the school condoning statutory rape. Be cool. Act like you're there to teach. It's your job and you will not risk it. Be friendly with the girls, but if you value your job and career, don't risk it. If you wanted sex, you should have chosen another line of work. Always act professional. Always be organized. Don't go in unprepared. Always have that big file of worksheets and exercises ready to hand out to fill up time. When you go to the teacher's room, there could be little gangs in there. I found they were a bunch of loners trying to act like they were friendly with each other, but everyone had their own problems and agenda. There was a bit of gossip, but it was all out in the open. Teachers talked about each other and about students in a superficial way. Teachers in general aren't highly motivated because no matter what effort they give, they get paid the same amount. A highly motivated intellectual is off writing books, starting a business based on his ideas, or trying to invent something. Teachers are kind of like slightly above average people who liked school, had fun there, are moderately sociable, intellectual, and creative. Highly motivated creative intellectual people eventually leave to do something original with their ideas and energy rather than veg away teaching average kids meaningless stuff on the road to acquiring system credentials. School is not the place to make waves. If you want to do that, do it on your own. If you want to be a good teacher who no one hassles, dress well, teach straightforward lesson plans that follow the curriculum, don't challenge the students or pick out individuals to ask questions to in class, let them listen passively to your lectures, hand out worksheets and follow a relaxed flow day after day. Try number 371.1 or LB1025 at the library for books on effective teaching. Love is the best teacher. The smart teacher teaches the mind, the wise teacher teaches the heart. A loving teacher helps us find our way in life. You are always teaching people, not performance objectives. Teaching should be a joy and an art. Be a good teacher. 1. Learn by analyzing what you do as a teacher, then coming to new conclusions about what to do. Toy is the most important rule. Reflect on what happens with students and learn from it. Prepare students for the world of work. Help students become civic-minded. Teaching should be a learning experience for teachers and students. A good teacher is interested in the subject matter and expresses it. When you criticize the work specifically, not the person. Take feedback to learn to be a better teacher. Discipline is really case by case. Try to do it privately, not in front of others. When you assess students, it's better to be much more positive than negative. When you're negative, make it sound like you're offering subtle advice. Students will learn who they are on their own anyway. You being negative just creates hate and trouble. Learn your school's policies and practices to follow them and stay out of trouble. Teach the spirit of learning. We learn because we love to, and it makes us better and more practical, accomplished people. Students are people, not just marks you give out. Most are young, so they're emotionally immature. Be careful about saying things to hurt their feelings. Rather than criticize, tell them to work harder on some area. Most students are not mature thinkers until they're at least 20 years old. Make allowances for young people, both emotionally and academic-wise. Some people really are that stupid. They cannot grasp the concepts that are easy to you. It could be genetics. It could be a deprived home life. These people exist. Be ready for them. Students need order, structure, and discipline. You need to control the class. For people with normal intelligence, learning comes down to motivation. Read articles at edu-cyberpg.org. Be very careful about getting personally involved in students' lives to help them, because they could flip on a dime and accuse you of inappropriate behavior, or a jealous mother could file harassment charges against you. Try not to touch children, even when being consoling and affectionate. This is the reality of modern-day life. Many school boards have a no-sex policy or a no-dating policy even with students over 18. Wait until you are not teaching them anymore. A lot of teaching is outcome-based, meaning you have standards they expect you to reach, like the students must pass certain tests in some subjects. Should you teach by the spirit of it or teach by test standards? Be a good teacher too. Work hard in school but have fun doing it. Do it within the context of community spirit. The teacher must love the spirit of creative intellectual stimulation. Help children learn what comes naturally to them anyway. The learning classroom is the idea of a classroom that expresses the spirit of learning, even for the teacher. The really good teacher teaches because they love it. They just don't repeat the same lesson plans everywhere to do the least amount of work possible. Be a good teacher. 3. A good teacher is naturally a creative intellectual who wants to pass knowledge and love of knowledge out into the community, not just in the classroom and in school, but to live by this ideal everywhere. The learning community is an idea some school boards use, where they try to get everybody involved in a learning atmosphere, going so far as to have classes at night for parents, health-conscious people, job seekers, and others interested in improving their lives. There are 2 ways to teach. One is to go in with your lesson plan and follow it to get through it. The other is to go in to feel the students and have a relationship with them, where there is discussion, opinion, and feedback going on. Listen to the students. Have a vision, like I want my students to gain insight into the human condition, or math, American history, biology, etc., through what I teach. Engage students to think, not just to try to go for the right answer, because in many situations, there is no one right answer. There is solo learning on one's own and team learning. Have sessions where you break students into small groups and they talk amongst themselves to come to conclusions about some issue. Offer extra resources for what you teach, like a bookshelf of books in the classroom or a list of relevant websites to visit. The standard method of teaching is to present X amount of information to the students, which they regurgitate back. The more they remember on tests, the more intelligent they are thought to be. The new paradigm is to pay more attention to the imagination and creative thinking. Encourage students to come up with alternative solutions as opposed to just the standard right one in some subjects, and come up with their own ideas too. See the dignity in every individual. Help them develop their unique potential to become interesting, positive, helping human beings dedicated to the good of humanity. Learning is not limited to sitting in a desk in a classroom. It's everywhere and involves the five senses. Sensual things like art and music help develop an inspired person who is more interested in the straight intellectual stuff as a result of his or her aesthetic orientation. Physical activity and love of it uplift the spirit, which helps a person become more motivated and open to learning new things. When you classify kids according to a rigorous academic standard, you miss out on unique strengths some kids might have. The teacher is not the absolute authority on knowledge and ideas. The students can add to the learning atmosphere. There is a spiritual intuition about some subjects. It is not just made up of a bunch of discrete, unrelated facts and figures. Einstein perceived science this way. Math has a certain spiritual harmony to it. Life as in the social sciences comes down to the human soul, no matter how much they try to psychobabblize it. Allow theories to be challenged. Challenge conventional thinking yourself to the point where you're allowed. When I was a teacher, I was told to stay with the curriculum on several occasions. If you try to teach with your own ideas to encourage independent thinking, parents hear about it, then complain to the school because they don't want the child to miss out on the traditional stuff even if it's meaningless. A teacher wrote a book saying that only a few people ever use algebra after high school, yet we use it as a measuring stick. If you can't pass it, you're excluded from entering a lot of fields which you might shine in, like biology, botany, etc. Knowledge is not really a competitive sport. It should be a team activity where people get together and share ideas rather than having class rankings for highest marks. Teach in the spirit that everyone has their own strengths which they should try to master. Teach people to live in the moment, to contemplate their experiences in order to improve their lives and to plan every day the night before. Teach the student to know where he or she starts as an individual, what their pure thoughts are and where the world comes in to impose its thoughts on them. Teach children to reflect on their problems, experiences, and situations, then come to the best decisions possible with the facts they've got to try to solve them or come to a decision that they will then act on. The fundamental purpose of teaching is to help others learn how to learn, not necessarily to follow some standard curriculum of objectives. Do this in the ways you feel are best. How would you create passion and inspiration in a classroom? Teach who you are. Express the beauty and power inside of you. Educate from a sense of dignity. Don't just see the student as a fool for not understanding something. Slow down. Try to understand him or her. Explain things from different perspectives. Try the different senses. Explain it, do a drawing. Experience it by walking around if possible. Teach the aesthetics of learning, the idea that knowledge is beautiful, graceful, interesting, exciting and fun. Talk at the emotional and intellectual level of your students. Watch your body language and tone of voice to see if you are somehow condescending. Children are sensitive. Treat a child badly once as a teacher, he might remember it for life. There is not just academic intelligence. People learn in different ways, so explain in different ways using different senses from the five senses. A teacher should be more like a nurturer than a human dispenser of facts. It's okay to tell some things straight as fact, but it's also fine to create knowledge through discussion and sharing ideas in other ways. Everything develops together: academic intelligence, social skills, self-awareness, street smarts. Try to get a feel for every student so you know what their learning style, strengths, and weaknesses are. Try to avoid labeling a child with any label like the learning disabled one. Even gifted kids have weaknesses. Assessment standards are necessary in modern education, but a good teacher goes beyond that to teach the spirit of life. Teach students to think in an organized way, building up a framework of the world's knowledge as they go along. Be light-hearted. Teach the beauty of being curious. Books about thinking and learning are in the psychology section, number 150-159, and the education section, number 379, at the library. Be a good teacher. 4. Good teachers encourage student participation. They want students to be part of setting classroom activities. They want everybody to work together and discuss ideas. Collaborate with other teachers. Get together. Share teaching ideas. Good teachers approach the subject matter as ways of knowing and thinking. You want to create independent thinkers who do not think in a box, i.e., within one field. Their thinking encompasses all life. First teach reading, then move on to discussing ideas, even simple ones. After that, teach children to write as independent thinkers. Teach to help students go beyond the information given and create their own ideas about an issue. Teach to arouse students' curiosity. Students learn best when they ask questions to confirm their new knowledge. Teach students to stand up for their beliefs even when others disagree. Teach brainstorming, generating ideas. Teach the scientific method, which is to start out with a statement, then figure out a way to test it to whether it's always true or not. Teach community involvement. Activist writing is writing to persuade people to a particular viewpoint. Teach students to write about they are concerned with within their communities. Teach self-analysis, like keeping a journal to help you discover your true nature and identity. Teach students to analyze arguments for a viewpoint, test it for soundness, and then counter the arguments with the opposing viewpoints. Teach students to think for themselves, make their own decisions, don't be influenced by pop culture entertainment. Ask why do women color their hair and men wear earrings. Find a book on debating and teach students how to argue against a viewpoint. Teach students how to critique or review somebody else's work. Teach critical listening, as in listening to a politician or activist and pointing out their lapses in logic even if you agree with them. I listen to government critics quite a lot. Even if I agree with them, I often see how biased their speeches are. The thing is that just about everybody bends the truth to suit their ends, especially politicians. Teach self-control. In business or academia, never attack a person based on emotions. Attack based on facts. Teach students to look at a media article and determine if the author has given all sides a fair opportunity, or is he or she biased to one viewpoint only. I saw extreme bias in a feminist article. The girl came out swinging against patriarchy and men and never stopped, even though many men support feminism, but she lost them all by portraying all men as bums. Teach students how to authenticate an article by looking for other sources to verify the facts that article claims. A good article will have footnotes and references. Most media articles don't. If you're writing an article, put some website names in where readers can read more or verify that your statements are fact. Teach students how to do library research, internet research, and other research. Where is the knowledge you need? The best teacher helps the child with his or her own curiosity. What about teaching morality? What is good? What is selfish? What is evil? Look at ads and point out where they are deceptive. Provide an upbeat learning classroom environment that goes beyond the curriculum to encourage other ideas, as in having a bookshelf of interesting books in the corner, and also let students create their own ideas by writing essays on things they are interested in. Teach all life as a holistic essence. Don't stick to the little box of the formal subject. Go outside the box if necessary. For example, in science class, talk about why we need electrical energy. Don't just talk about how electricity is made.